So let me start. I hope everyone is okay with recording today. So this session, as I was saying, this sessions usually we hold them internally with the people involved in our program. And what we do really is to have chats about happenings in the industry, what people are facing on their job, what help they need, and things like that. We don't usually we don't record these sessions, but again, from popular demand, based on popular demand, we've had even people internally asking us. They've asked us to bring it up into the world. So we're trying that out, trying to see what that looks like. So that's why we're here today again. Probably the third time we're doing it, or fourth time. So because we don't have so many people yet, because I know people will still join as we proceed, I would like a few people to unmute and introduce themselves. Your name, your current location, why you joined the call today. There's a Georgia from Edmonton. Welcome. Who's going first?
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Tochi. My current location is Canada, and I'm here today to hear more experienced people speak, and also, to hear peers speak on, transitioning to cybersecurity from wherever you may be coming from. Yeah. So
Absolutely.
I'm here to learn and to also lend my voice if need be. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Coach. Nice to have you on the call. Oh,
Nice
okay.
to be here.
Grace, I don't know if you can hear us. You don't have a microphone? Interesting. Can someone guide on how to activate a Zoom microphone? Oh, she's in the library. Okay. Can you let us know if you can hear us, Grace? I'm not too sure. It doesn't look like it at all. All right. Oh, you can. Perfect. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So who's going next? Thank you, Techi. Nice to have you on the call. Who's going next? Okay. Should I call out a few people?
Can I go next?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay, my name is Efosa. I am located in Edmonton, and I'm looking to transition into cybersecurity. So I'm hoping that with this session, I would get perhaps real life experiences of people who have transited, and perhaps also point us to what I should be looking out for, as one who's into that career path.
Absolutely. Thank you. Nice to have you on the call. Who else? Look, as you're doing that, if you're currently practicing cybersecurity, doesn't matter what shape or another, in what shape you're practicing or another. If you're currently practicing, you can put your hand up even as you introduce yourself.
Hi, Ava here. I was working in the banking sector. I'm sorry about my background. And I got laid off, and then I'm planning to move into cybersecurity. So, seeing how this could help me transition into cybersecurity.
Great, great. Nice to have you here, and I'm sorry to hear about your job loss. Yeah, it's kind of what the market is looking like right now. I hope you can get back on your feet as soon as possible. But nice to have you on the call. Okay. Kabir, you want to... Okay. Who's going next? Yeah, go ahead.
Hi, good day, everyone. Yeah, my name is Kabir. I would like to transition into cybersecurity. Previously, I've been in the banking sector, I have a bit of an IT background.
Don't stop there, let's finish.
I'll be very hopeful, or rather glad, to see what this session will have to provide for us. Thank you.
Nice to have you on the phone, Corey. Thank you. Okay, I see only Tochi's and up. Are we saying that's the only person that is practicing cybersecurity here? Interesting. And that's okay if that's how you feel. As we proceed with the program, we'll see how many people are really practicing cybersecurity. Who else? For the sake of time, we'll just proceed if no one is willing right now. And as people join, they can just put their name and location in the chat. A few things we want to look at today. And please, this is not it's not just a session where I'm presenting to you guys and just having my own fun. It's you can ask questions, you can contribute to the conversation. In fact, I encourage you to contribute to the conversation as we go on. Whether you agree with what I'm saying or you don't, or if I ask a question, I encourage everybody to contribute. It's not just my show, right? It's everybody's show. Like, you're here to have fun. So, a few things we want to look at, and I've heard a few people say, "Oh, they want to transition. They want to transition into this space." So, the first thing we really want to look at is and I've heard one or two people, even someone in the chat, say they got laid off recently. Okay, it's an interesting market right now. So, we want to look at what the market looks like right now and what does it look like for cybersecurity, right? That's the first thing we want to look at. As well, we will look at what are the roles within cybersecurity. Does everyone need to be technical? Does everyone need to code or do pen tests? Whatever. What does that look like? What are the roles you can get into within cybersecurity? And what are the key skills that are required for this role or for any role in cybersecurity for that matter? And then hopefully we get more people in the space here to share what a day in their life really looks like. Because there's no better way to get a full understanding of what we're talking about if we don't hear from people that are already doing it. Right? What does that look like from their point of view? Is it as hard as it looks? Is it as technical, or is it rocket science, like they say? I like to say it's not rocket science, but is it really rocket science? We'll see. And then we'll look at what are the practical steps we can actually take to transition. Is transition even possible? Or is just something we throw around? Everyone talks about transition. People go, oh yeah, I want to do that. Is it possible? Has anyone done it before? Right. And then what is the right mindset you need to make that? Because I'm this kind of person. I believe in mindset a lot. What you think in your mind or in your head determines what happens to you in the real world, whether you believe it or not. I believe in that. And is there a certain mindset you need to do this? Or just taking all the right actions would get you there, or doing it for a few days or a few weeks would actually get you there, right? We look at that as well. And yeah, how can you do it? Is there a roadmap to get that done? Okay. Does anyone have something to say before we proceed today? And I'm not doing any presentation. It's sort of typical webinar where I'm presenting something on the screen. Kabir, please go ahead.
Okay. Hello.
I can hear you.
Yeah. For those that want to transition into cybersecurity, what sort of certifications would you recommend for those that don't have a good background, or rather just the basics, to enable them have a proper grasp onto what cybersecurity is all about?
Good question. Very good question. And I hear this every time. And the reason I smiled and I had that big smile on my face is the fact that it's one of the things we touch on as we proceed, right? If you don't mind me holding on, because we'll touch on it later on, I don't want to put that forward. I don't want to put that first, if that's okay. As we proceed, we'll get there, and I'll point it back out to you to say, okay, we're talking about certifications. This is what it is. Do you even need certification? And then that's a different conversation entirely. Is certification needed? Is it not needed? Then, if it's needed, what certifications do you need? We'll talk about. We'll touch on it. Is that okay?
Okay.
All right, thank you. Now let's talk about, so what does cybersecurity, what does the space look like right now? Okay, on a general note, what are we seeing in the market? I would like to know a few people's background and know what does the market look like? Even if you're in the market searching for a job, what are you seeing in the market right now? Is it like that kind of market where recruiters are chasing you around, or what does it look like? What are you guys seeing in the market? Tell me.
So what I'm seeing in the market is um the job applicants are the ones chasing the recruiter around.
And it doesn't
Yeah.
matter which field, right? Okay. Okay, interesting. Does anyone agree with that? Or have you seen something different? Maybe you're so hot in the market and everybody's chasing after you. Anyone?
Um, this is Olaumi. I agree with Tochi's comments. I haven't started searching for job actually, but I I know how it is like from my past experience. So
Okay, let's talk about that your past experience. So what kind of jobs were you searching for?
like I said, I before now like I tried the training in business analyst, and it's also difficult getting a job in that space.
Hey, okay, here we go.
Yeah.
So it's sounding like it's a difficult market.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. And it doesn't matter what you're doing. So it seems
Yeah.
like it's an interesting market there. Thank you. That we have agree. Yes.
Okay, I would like to say something.
Okay.
Maybe this is Euphemia.
Yes,
Okay,
Fabian.
so yeah, good afternoon, everyone. Okay, so for the job market, I would say that it's 50-50 because when I
Okay.
started transitioning and my LinkedIn was optimized, I realized that recruiters were now looking for me. So even last week, I also got another recruiter also calling me, trying to get information. So I think it depends. I don't know, maybe the skills they are needing at that particular point in time. So, but for me, I have not chased recruiters. They're the ones, you know, looking out for what I can offer. So that's the way I look at it.
Interesting.
I'm
Different view
happy
of the
to hear
market.
that. That's actually a word of encouragement right now. Euphemia.
That's what you're waiting for, Olawumi.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting, interesting. Wow. Now we've seen two different perspectives from three people. Does anyone else have something to say before I add my one bit to it?
Looking for cybersecurity rules, but I would say I'm a BA now, and
Okay.
in the summer months, so June, July, I had
Yeah.
a lot of recruiters reaching out to me, and I
Okay.
was on vacation, so it was really difficult to catch up, with the demand, send this, send that, send that, and then August, September. So today I had to go and check my emails. Am I sure recruiters are not that mails are not going to job? Because I wasn't even getting mails anymore from any recruiter. In the whole of September, I don't think I got a mail, from a recruiter saying, okay, we have this position open. Are you interested? It just tells us that the market has slowed down again, unlike how it was, in the earlier months.
Interesting. I like that. So and you're talking about the BA space now, not cybersecurity, right?
Yeah, because I haven't started searching yet. I've not
Okay.
revised my profile yet. So
Interesting. And you're like all the people that I've talked, you guys are not wrong, really. The market, again, compared to 2 years ago, last year, it was booming. It was like you have 3 jobs, 4 jobs. Recruiters actually, hiring managers actually begging you to leave your job for them. Like it was that hot. It has slowed down because the government, again, jumped in and tried to control the market. It's always beneficial for the government, for the companies to have the power, not those that are looking for jobs, because You can make your demands and then there will be too much money in the market. So now it's so tight, people can hardly afford rent these days. The government has coming again to try to save the businesses, bring down interest rate and all of that. So the market will get better. Would it be as good as it was? I'm not too sure. But now, Euphemia said something interesting, and I'll go to that. Cybersecurity. We've read about the BA space. We've read from those that are looking for cybersecurity jobs. The difference between cybersecurity and other spaces is the fact that it doesn't matter what the market is saying. Now, the companies will always need to either comply with regulations or at least protect themselves from bad things happening. That's why someone like Euphemia will be getting recruiters reaching out on LinkedIn. Again, like you said, because she has a profile optimized and it's working, right? That's why you would get, and I know a few people here that can say, again, it doesn't, someone said August, September, the market has been so quiet. But then we have probably one person or two people on here having one or two interviews per week, or even three people having one or two interviews per week. Does anyone want to say something about that? I mean, in the cybersecurity space, or at least one interview per week. Is there anyone here saying that? Why is that? If in the market you're applying and you're saying something like that, is there something you're doing different? Okay, why is this so quiet? So I need to call people now.
Sorry, doctor, is it in relation to cybersecurity?
To cybersecurity, or even any other space. But yeah, especially cybersecurity.
Actually, I've not been making any application towards that area, but in IT support and help desk support, most of the applications I've been doing, I've been backing it up with a very concrete and robust cover letter. And that has been landing me some interviews.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
That's good to know. Well, thank you for that. And thank you for sharing that actually. It's interesting. So IT support is another space where again, a lot of companies need it. Again, not as much as cybersecurity. Probably most likely doesn't pay as much as cybersecurity. Oh yes. So you would compare that to the cybersecurity space. There's the demand. The market is low, yes, but there's still the demand for it. You would see people that are specialized in certain areas of cybersecurity, i.e., security operations. You see them getting calls because these are areas that, same in GRC, these are areas that companies cannot do without, no matter what. GRC, because compliance is an issue. You see GDPR nowadays. We'll get there. So there's the AI standard AI regulations that are coming up across the world today. Companies, almost everybody uses AI, right? Companies are starting to look at, okay, we cannot afford to be non-compliant. So they're bringing people with a GRC skill set, especially those that are familiar with AI governance. They're bringing them in. Same thing with IAM, Identity and Access Management. We are seeing more companies because now companies are starting to realize that you cannot do security without access management. So companies are bringing in, especially privileged access. All those admin passwords, all those secret keys, the encryption keys, and all of those things. Now, companies are starting to realize that there's no way they can do security effectively. There's no way they can protect the organization without those things in place. You'll see 10 recruiters in this same market, this same very dry market, 10 recruiters reaching out to one person for the same jobs or two jobs or three jobs out there, begging him to sign up with them, begging him to let them represent him. And it's not just the one, but that's why I asked him, and I'm not sure that person is here yet. Because I asked if there's someone here, what is that person doing differently? That person, even though he can do a lot of things, he just specializes in one area of security. Well, it will not be a good fit for everything. It will be a good fit for the one thing that they're looking for. And everyone keeps coming to me. Now, there's someone else, Tucci, if you're here, do you want to say something about your current experience in the market?
Okay, so my current experience in the market is, I mean, there are jobs, right? That's what I always say. I always say that there are jobs. I mean, you hear there are no jobs in Canada, but there are jobs. But these jobs are so specific. They know what they want and they are not willing to compromise.
Yes.
Yeah. So you have to prepare yourself and you have to present yourself well, right? Because you're not the only one vying for whatever position you want, right? It could just be just one thing, right? That the other person may have over you. But what I think is your presentation matters, and it's good you keep applying and don't let the don't let it get to you. Be it you get some rejection, it doesn't matter. You just need 1 years, right?
Oh, yes.
You don't need 1,000 years. You just need 1 years. And that 1 years sometimes comes in a crowd of no's.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The 1 year changes your life, actually.
Yes.
And thank you for sharing that. And the one thing that I thought you would talk about is the why, yeah, traditional applications work. They work, of course. But then there are still other things, especially in this market where there's a lot of noise. Imagine a hiring manager putting out a job and then there are 80 people, 100 people applying for the same job. Do you think that hiring manager will scan through every resume? Even in cybersecurity, the jobs are there. But do you know how many people? There are 18 people on the call right now. Let's say all the people here went through the same program. You're most likely applying for similar jobs, right? Will you all get called for that job or will you get that job? There's a good chance that at least one or two of you will get it. Now, what will those people do differently? Two things that I know work really well. Referrals. Find someone, connect with people. Yeah, you can call it networking, you can call it making friends. I prefer to call it making friends. Make friends with the right people. So when you say networking, what I've seen people do is you're networking and you're reaching, and I get that a lot. I get that almost every time. So, and I don't reply to those messages, not because of anything, just because, again, you're not giving me anything to work with. You're saying, oh, hey, doctor, this and that, I've done this, I've done that, I need a job. All right, okay, I can't help. Sorry. Nobody gives a job. No matter how busy that market is, no one is ever going to hand you a job. You have to show value. So if you have a friendship somewhere, if you have a friend somewhere, and you guys are not adding value to yourselves in any shape or form, even if it's you eating together, if it's sharing food, sharing money, sharing gist, there must be some sort of value exchange. That's the only way you can keep a friendship. But if you're just expecting, it's more of a parasitic engagement you're expecting, you're not going to get anything out of it. So that's why I'm taking it back to no matter how busy or how tight the market is, the first thing is to build friendship, make friends with the right people, and they'll connect you to the right places. They should, at some point when they see the value, connect you to the right opportunities. And that's something that just happened recently. A friendship I had, I didn't even know, I even forgot about. I met a friend, not a friend exactly, but we had an opportunity to work together at a point. We had very good chats. I was able to add value to him, even though we didn't end up doing that exact work together. We met earlier this week. And what happened? We have a few people interviewing for certain roles that about, at least from what I saw on LinkedIn, and some people here can speak to it, but I saw on LinkedIn, over 100 and some, I can't remember exactly the number, but over 100 people have applied to that role. I will have a number of our people interviewing for that. Now, the question is, would they have made it beyond the recruiter stage without having that leg up? We don't know that for sure. But now we know for sure that once that introduction was made, they're closer to getting that job. Now, again, you still have to prove remember the value that I talked about. You still have to prove your worth to this person to say, I'm worth putting money into. I can solve a problem for you before you can get that job. So building friendship, no matter the market, is key. So especially now that the market is tight. But yes, transition is possible. It's very possible. People are doing it every day. And we'll still get to mindset. We'll talk about perseverance and all of that too. We had earlier this week, we had someone sign a 187K offer. This person, very experienced guy, very, very, very experienced. And it was even for everybody, it was supposed to be like within a few weeks, you should have a job. It didn't happen. Interviews after interviews after interviews. And this is one of the people that will tell you that the market is not slow because he had interviews after interviews and then cricket. Oh, it's very nice. Almost 2 months after this interview, they came back to make him a 187K offer. Now, yes. Now, what was the difference here? Perseverance. If you had given up, how much? 5 interviews, 6 interviews, which is not normal. I would say it's not normal. I had 5 interviews, 6 interviews, nothing. I know what I know, what's going on. Oh, let me jump to project management. Or let me jump to system administration. Where would you be today? Where would this person be today? Definitely not with that offer. So, okay. Does anyone have something to say? So I'm seeing wow in the chat. Rachel, you can unmute it. Does anyone have something to say about what the market looks like right now before we move on to something else? So, okay, let me mention. Yeah, go ahead. Is that Kabir?
No.
Oh, okay. I thought I heard some. Okay. I've been mentioning how much the offer was this week. It's just to let you know that if you show value, companies will pay for you. So I've seen people say, "Oh, I'm transitioning into cybersecurity, so let me bring them." And we want just entry level. They even have the experience, the relatable experience to leverage. Oh, I want entry level because they're easier to get into. One thing I will tell you today is it's not true. In cybersecurity, there's a good chance that if you apply for entry level roles, say they're looking for 2 year experience, and then you apply to 5 year a job that requires 5 years of experience, or even 7 years of experience, there's a good chance that the questions you ask for that job that requires 5 years of experience will be very similar to the questions you get asked for that job that requires 1 or 2 years of experience. What would happen is there will be more competition for you applying to that 1 or 2 year work experience job than that would be for if you apply to this 5 or 7 year work experience job. So if again, I'm not saying go and doctor your resume or anything. If you have the relatable experience, there should be nothing stopping you. So a lot of us like to play small. So yeah, I just want to get something. I just want to get something. No, there's nothing stopping you from going faster, which is the beauty of tech. You can go as fast as you want, depending on how much value you can add to yourself within a short period, or how much longer you want to take. So that's the beauty of being in this space. You can make good money fast if you position yourself well, and if you're ready to give it what it takes, no matter what the market is saying. That's cybersecurity. And 187K I talked about is not a one-off. As slow as the summer is, I can't count how many offers we've registered actually. Yes, and loads of interviews. Some people here can attest to that. Loads of interviews, a number of offers, not as many as it was say last year and all that, but still a lot of offers, right? Again, the competition is tighter. There are more people applying for the same jobs, but things are happening if you're ready to give it what it takes. There's something they say about staying at the barber shop long enough, you will eventually get a cut, right? So be ready for the long haul. Now, let's talk about roles in cybersecurity. Who here, and I asked the question earlier and I'll ask that question again. Who here is already practicing cybersecurity? I'm talking about, okay, take note of that question. I did not ask who has a cybersecurity job title. Who is practicing cybersecurity? Okay, I see one hand up. Just one hand up. Anybody else? Just one. Interesting. I'll ask that question again. Who on this call is practicing cybersecurity? Okay, I see two hands. Three hands. Three hands out of 20. Four hands. Thank you. Okay, anybody else? Okay, so the question is not who has a cybersecurity job title. The question is who is practicing cybersecurity? Okay, now three hands. One person dropped their hand. Okay, interesting. Now I will start with Rachel. If you're okay, four hands. Thank you, Eva. So let me start with Rachel. Tell me a little bit about what you currently do.
Okay, hi, good afternoon, everyone.
Good
I
afternoon.
currently work as a technical support associate for a telco. I am practicing cybersecurity in password management and also educating users on security when I troubleshoot for them. And also, I won't call it fraud management, but something like gatekeeping, so to speak. So I think for me, that's how I'm practicing cybersecurity. I have a question, but I will put that in the chat so that when you're done with the session, you can answer it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I like that. I like what you said. And I love the fact that you've already acknowledged that you've already identified that bit. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, let me go to Ava. Let me know if that's the right pronunciation.
Yeah, by practicing, I meant I'm learning. So that's my way of practicing right now. So I'm just doing a course with Talent under Dr. Cleo, and that's how I got to know about your session. And yeah, I'm just learning like vulnerability, creating vulnerability report, etc., etc. But yeah, like you kind of introduced what is it do you need to be a pen test, and like that's exactly what I'm here for. Like I'm trying to understand. So if I read those NVD reports and things like that, they're like so technical for me to understand. So I was wondering, so who identified the vulnerability? Would be somebody who's had a good hold on development, like was he or she able to understand the code and then find fault in it, or was it just by using some tools, or like what level of knowledge, or to what extent, like what's the kind of extensive knowledge that you're expected to have if you need to be a cybersecurity professional? So uh, yeah, so
Yes.
to
Yeah.
understand that, yeah, and
We'll
how do I
get
get started in terms of like certification of what is needed to enter into the industry? So that's where I wanted
absolutely.
some
And
information.
we'll get there shortly. Get there shortly. A quick question for you though. What part of cybersecurity are you currently learning? Because you know cybersecurity is quite broad, right?
Yeah, so far I'm just on unit one, no, like unit one, which is just about creating vulnerability report and understanding NVD and what's that score, CVSS, etc. So I have no idea where does this fit. I have no idea really, to be frank. Yeah, I understand
Okay.
it's vast. Yeah, but I don't know where I fit in really. Yeah, it's just my
Okay,
starting
interesting.
point.
That might be a question to ask to say, okay, how does this fit into the bigger picture? Because writing vulnerability report is a very small part of what, even within vulnerability management, it's a very small part of it. And it's a good question to ask, where did these vulnerabilities come from? Who identifies this vulnerability? Most of the time, especially when you're writing reports like that, those vulnerabilities come from a scanner, not from an individual, right? Comes from a vulnerability scanner, and the report comes from them. It's just it most of the time it's about you understanding, and most of the time they're written in English. It's very easy to understand when it's broken down. They're written in English. They're easy to understand. Now we'll get to what skill sets you need in a moment. We'll get to it. But let me touch on what others what they have to say first. But we're definitely we have it within the scope of what we want to cover today. Okay, Felix, can you tell me a little bit about what you do?
So right now I manage operational technology, cybersecurity program. Can you hear me?
Yes. I said OT. Yes.
Okay, yeah. OT, operational technology cybersecurity program, and I've been involved in a couple of projects from endpoint detection to vulnerability management to revamping the firewall setting. And right now I'm working on policies and standards and procedures for the whole operational technology cybersecurity for my city. I'm also taking training because I do not have an IT background. So based on the fact that I'm working on this program, I'm just moved to take some basic trainings in IT. That's the Cisco cybersecurity analyst, which is basic, and then I'll continue from there.
Interesting. That's interesting. So what's your current job title?
Operational Technology and Intelligence Coordinator.
Say that again.
Operational Technology and Intelligence Coordinator.
Okay. I'm not laughing at the title. I'm laughing at the fact that there's no cybersecurity in it.
No, well, you know the way the city works. Sometimes you have some roles, and they just give it a term, and what you do is completely different from what your title says. So it's more or less operational technology, cybersecurity, and intelligence coordinator, but we just forget that cybersecurity part.
It's very good. The reason I laughed is because earlier, it wasn't this week, I think a few weeks ago, I was having a chat with the people in our program. And because we show how to apply to jobs, what jobs to apply to. And I was showing them a number of opportunities that they could apply to with good pay, and some of them without cybersecurity. And a lot of them were hesitant. They didn't want to apply. And again, you said all these things, and people on our program, if they're here, they'll be like, oh wait, this guy is doing cybersecurity. These are the things, like these are cybersecurity stuff. But then we talked about the title, nothing cybersecurity. Very interesting. Thank you for sharing that. But you're definitely doing cybersecurity for sure. Okay, I think Rachel put something in the chat. I'm currently transitioning to cybersecurity and I'm educating myself to get with available resources to get up skilled. I have taken CC exam and looking to take security plus. What skills should I focus on acquiring beyond taking courses so that I stand a good chance in the industry? Good question, Rachel. And that's definitely where we're going after talking about the diverse roles in cybersecurity. That's what we're going. Now, a question for you, if you are able to talk, if you can unmute. What is your current job title, or what do you currently do in your job? That would help me answer the question you asked, actually. If you're able to unmute, if not, you can put it in the chat as well. And I see Grace as well. You've done vulnerability and incident report / gap analysis. Okay. And a question for you, if you're able to put it in the chat again. Do you know how that ties back to any area of cybersecurity? Let me take one more person. Allow me before we move on to talking about roles.
Okay, so I currently work as a social service worker, which is basically about documenting client information and also ensuring confidentiality with whatever information they have shared with the workers. which I know that it's one of the basic components of cybersecurity, confidentiality, and getting consent from them before sharing their information with another worker or probably another agency. And we also try to educate them on how to create safety measures, probably on their devices, and just to safeguard them in whatever situation they are currently in. So that is basically what I'm doing right now.
What I'm hearing is privacy and data protection.
Yeah.
Very interesting. No, I like everyone I've spoken, and I like what you all said. You can see that there are different areas within cybersecurity. Whether you have the title or not, there's a good chance that you're already doing some form of cybersecurity already. You're talking about privacy and data protection. That is one area of cybersecurity that you can focus on and make it big. Again, you already understand your space. You know that you understand your niche. And what I would tell you is when you specialize like that, that's really where the money is in cybersecurity. Because you just realize that there's so many cybersecurity people, but your niche is your niche. If anyone needs someone that understands healthcare or security within healthcare, they will come to you. How many people are out there with that skill set? So yes, there's so many cybersecurity people, but there are very few cybersecurity people with healthcare experience. Right. So that's where you would stand out. Felix, well, I think it was Felix, right? Talking about OT. OT, it's one of the roles today. OT security is one of the roles today that are in high demand. Companies like Artco, Bridge, all of them, even pharmaceutical companies, was food manufacturing companies. They need because they all use OT and they've seen how OT has been attacked in the past, especially in the US. Sometime last year, we saw utilities go down and gas go down in one of the states in the US. So they've seen how OT gets attacked. So it's in high demand. If you have that, experience, and you are able to present your profile really well, you should be a hot cake in the market. I remember just 2 months ago, a recruiter working with us was looking for someone with SCADA experience. Unfortunately, at the time, had nobody with SCADA experience. They searched everywhere. They came to us like, "Do you have anybody?" And we couldn't give them. It was definitely for good. I think they were going to pay $120 per hour. So we didn't get anyone internally at the time. The demand for OT security experts is on the rise for sure. Now, another area, GRC for sure, AI security and governance. Definitely. I don't think there's anyone here that is not using AI. And initially companies were hesitant, but now companies are adopting AI and they know for sure that if you're putting all sorts of information on AI, you need to protect it. And who do you think would own that market? Anyone that has established themselves as AI security, as an AI security expert. So if you can establish yourself like that, which is part of what our people are going through, get AI security certification as you go through our program. So AI security is on the rise, and it hasn't even started. That's the interesting thing with AI. AI is still in its infancy. It's in the next year, 2 years, we'll go through the roof. So be prepared. Get ready for that. It's coming. Threat intelligence, it's here. Again, a lot of companies they know what it is, but they're not exactly using it enough. If you have that skill set, but those that just concluded that program, I'm sure you heard, so you learned about threat intelligence, and you know how much you can do with mitral attack, and you know how much you can do with it. A lot of organizations, even though they have it as part of their SIM and other tools, they don't know how to use it. They know it's there, but they can't use it. So if you position yourself as someone with that level of expertise, you're probably one of the 2% of cybersecurity people in the world today. So that's another area that is booming. Cloud security, you can't go wrong with it. Everything is in the cloud today. Application security. We all use applications everywhere. Our product security, they're almost pretty much the same, really. We're talking about technical products. product security, application security. A lot of that would have to do with vulnerability management. That's why I was asking, was it Ava? When she was talking about writing vulnerability report, I was asking, okay, what part of cybersecurity? Because there are so many parts where you can write vulnerability reports. So if you know what part you are actually focusing on, it will be easier to say, oh, these are the things to look at. Or what your background is, it will be easier to say, these are the things to look at, right? So is that something you can, and I think Grace is also in that situation. I think you're all both going through the same program, right? Yeah, okay. If you want to find out how, because for me, it's one thing to learn theory or at least one practical. It's another thing to know how that ties back to the bigger picture. You want to know that what I'm doing, this is how I can apply it on the job. Right? It's not just for knowing's sake. Well, after acquiring all this knowledge, what do you do with it? You want to use it on a job. You don't want to use it in your house. Good question. Great, good question. Do I recommend taking a boot camp? I would say it depends. It depends, but there are things you can do. Yes, that's right. There's so many certifications out there today. And trust me, most of them are trying to make money. We'll get to that shortly. Now, taking a boot camp or not taking a boot camp, it really depends on a few things. We'll get to it when we get to skills. Or okay, in another few minutes when we get to navigating the transition itself, we'll talk about boot camp or no boot camp, certifications or no certifications. Get to that. Now, Rachel, do you have a question? I see your hand up, or maybe you haven't put it down.
Oh yeah, that must have been from the last time.
Right. Okay. Okay. And same as Ava. Do you have a question?
No, nothing for now. Sorry.
Right. Okay. Okay. I still see your hand up. All right. Thank you. So now, what skills? Okay. No. Before we get to the skills, let's talk about the role. So I've mentioned a few roles: cloud security, and all these things are sounding technical. Does anyone feel like, no, these are too technical? I don't want to do this. Do you have anyone currently working in insurance or in banking on the call today? Maybe banking operations, maybe credit, insurance, credit, fraud. Is there anyone on the call today working in any that has ever worked in any of those areas?
I have.
Is that Ifosa? Okay.
Yeah, I
Right.
worked in banking, and I'm
Okay.
currently working in a credit insurance company.
Oh, nice. Thank you. Oh, fraud investigation. Thank you, Grace. Now, do you know that fraud analysis, fraud, all that, most of the time when you're working on fraud, you're probably working on cyber fraud. Am I right or wrong? Most of the time. If it's not email compromise, it's credit card fraud, it's account takeover, what else? These are cyber incidents. Do you know that? If you're able to find the bridge between the two, you'd realize that you're already doing cybersecurity. Exactly. You're already doing cybersecurity, and all that knowledge would count when you're positioning yourself for a cybersecurity role. Because all that experiences would count, all those experiences would count for you. Now, talking about insurance, if you're a group, there's a space for you in cybersecurity as well. Because there's something we call cyber insurance. I can't sell cyber insurance because I don't know how insurance works. But there are people with that level of expertise. You now combine your knowledge of cybersecurity. You can be a cyber insurance broker. And if there's any space where the money is at, it's really where you sell. As a broker, you can make a lot of money. Selling is where the most money comes from, if you know that. So maybe you're dealing with insurance, and some of your work there includes risk management, which will take me to. And then the other thing is project management. You know what? Some people were talking about writing vulnerability reports earlier, and I said that's just a small part of vulnerability management. Very small, very tiny part. There are things that come before and there are things that come after that. Even when your area of expertise is just vulnerability management. And a lot of that involves project management. A lot of what comes before and after involves project management. So if you're a project manager, you have a space in cybersecurity too. So we're increasingly seeing more cybersecurity project manager, cybersecurity program manager roles come up these days. Now, even without the title, as a cybersecurity manager, or even as a CISO, you're a program manager. As a director of cybersecurity, you're a project or program manager, because we all run cybersecurity programs. You're a BA with PMP certificate. Oh, that's good. Yeah, everyone. Now, your BA, are you an IT BA or you're a process BA? Do you deal with systems? It's okay if you cannot mute. Okay, IT, good. So, and I can tell you for sure, as an IT BA, part of the requirements you gather are security requirements, either functional or non-functional. I'm sure you part of what you put together with access control list or roles and all of that. So there is an element of cybersecurity in what you do. And maybe you even participate in the risk assessment, project risk or technology risk assessment. Maybe you even, depending on your company, maybe you even participate in some QA work. So if you're in assurance, like you're a QA, you're already doing cybersecurity, you would see yourself more as an auditor. You just need to understand the principles and the frameworks that IT auditors use. How would being a PM impact? Liz, you can unmute and ask a question, please. I'm trying to understand.
I'm sorry, I wrote that up wrong. So how would a PM be impacted by cybersecurity?
How would a PM be impacted by cybersecurity? A number of ways. So if you're working in a relatively mature environment and you're working on IT projects, I'll be surprised if you're able to proceed without engaging with security, because there's something we call the left shift in security. It means thinking of security first. So if you put in any product out there, it needs to go through security. Part of your risk assessment would include technology risk.
Okay, got it.
Or information security risk. And then there will be scans happening as the project proceeds. Those are the things you would factor into your project planning and all of that. So you will participate in security every step throughout the project. You should. I don't know if you will. You should, as a PM, participate in security every step of your project. Now, it's a different thing when you're implementing a security solution or you're managing security initiatives. That's a different conversation entirely. But even managing IT projects generally, you will participate in security you should participate in security every step of the way. So there's a space for you if you're already a PM or a BA for that matter. Now, with all that said, I hope now everyone here understands that you don't necessarily have to come from IT. You don't necessarily have to have a background in IT to get into cybersecurity. At the same time, I'm not saying anybody and everybody should come in and start looking at intermediate to senior level roles. Some people would have to start from entry level. Some that do not have the relatable backgrounds. There's no shame in that. Let me put that out there. There's no shame in starting from the ground up. But then you should be, if you have relatable experience, you should be confident enough to present yourself using those experiences. Right. If your job does not, for example, you're not working in corporate, you're not working in banking, you've not done anything IT before, you say, for example, you're working in construction and you want to transition into IT, there's no crime starting from the ground up. Don't let people take doctor resumes for you, resumes that you cannot defend. It most likely will come back to haunt you. The one thing I say when I hear about, and yeah, let me talk about boot camps for a little bit. When I hear about certain boot camps, and I'm not saying all boot camps are the same, there are very good ones out there, very, very good ones. Right? They announce, oh, this person got a job. The question people don't ask is, How long did that person stay on the job? Have you checked 6 months later and see if that person is still on that job? Anyone can bamboozle their way through a job. Anyone can be coached and mentored and all of that to get a job that they know nothing about. Just an interview. Someone assessing you in 30 minutes or 1 hour, they may not get a full gauge of what you can do. But then go check 6 months later. Is that person still on the job? Did that person hold on to that job? That's a different conversation that we don't have with all those companies running training and bootcamps. Yeah, we run trainings too. And I've seen that to you. So now let's talk about skills, which is what I think a lot of people want to hear about. Now, what skills do you need? From everything we've talked about so far, if there's anything you can pick, risk management. If you're doing risk management of any shape or form, you have something to leverage in cybersecurity. Let me see some hands up. For the sake of time, let's just put hands up. Does anyone do risk management in the current role, or has anyone done risk management in any of their previous roles? Thank you, Rumi. Anybody else? Thank you, Grace. Perfect, Felix. Of course, yes, Felix. So, one thing you would realize with thank you, Professor, in cybersecurity is that the fundamentals of what we do is risk management. Every step of the way, it is risk management. It doesn't matter what you're doing, because what we're looking for is we're really looking out for what can go wrong. Oh, the company is trying to do this. What can go wrong? What can impact the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of information on this system, in this process? Whatever, that's what we're looking out for. And we're trying to find the best ways to reduce the impact, to reduce the chance that the bad thing happens, or reduce the impact if it happens. At its core, that's what we do as cybersecurity professionals. It doesn't matter what else comes, whatever name we give to it, at the fundamental level, that is what we do. Every time, every day, we sleep, we wake up with risk, thinking about risk everywhere. So if you've ever done risk management, you have something to leverage. If you've ever responded to incidents, whether you are in technical support, you're responding to safety-related incidents, all sorts of incidents, you have something to leverage. Compliance, if you've worked in a highly regulated environment, you've had to deal with auditors. If you've worked in an environment where you've had to deal with auditors, or you've audited others, you know that area, that field is highly regulated, because you cannot achieve compliance without audit. Now, if you've had those engagements, or you have audited others, or you've been in anything called assurance, you have something to leverage. Now, does anyone have a question on that? I've seen some people talk about QMS. Oh, I have experience implementing ISO 9001, but I've never done cybersecurity. Yes, you haven't done cybersecurity, but you see everything that you've done implementing ISO 9001 is exactly what you need to implement ISO 27001, which is a security side. So ISO 9001 is quality management system. ISO 27001 is information security management system. But two different things, but the implementation is pretty much the same. Am I making sense to somebody? Does anyone have a question on skills before I move on to? Okay, I see Solomon on the call. Before I will move on to navigating transition, before we talk about what a day in the life of a cyber professional really looks like. And I will lean on a few people on the call to tell me what their life really looks like as a cyber professional. But let's talk about the transition, which is why a lot of people are here today. So far we've talked about skills you can leverage. We've talked about risk management. We've talked about project management. We've talked about audit. We've talked about incident response. What else have we talked about? Something we didn't talk about, education. If you're an educator, do you know you can leverage that in cybersecurity? Someone talked about creating awareness as part of technical support. That's an area of cybersecurity you can focus on as a person. So what do you do? And I know some people are already in training, whether with us or with other schools, with other programs. I've heard from you guys. Now, the first step to take, and again, it's not too late even if you're in training, to first assess yourself. Someone talked about gap analysis before, and I said, yeah, that's your first step to transition into cybersecurity. Understand the space, the different roles in cybersecurity, what skill sets are needed. That's the first step. Why do I say that? You can go on and tap into a lot of things. Someone mentioned in the chat that he or she, I'm not sure, like they've been studying using using different materials they come across, but they want direction in terms of what they should do. And I would like to hear from that person soon. It can tell me what they've done before. Maybe I can give some guidance on the call. Now, you can pick all sorts of material because there's so many of them, so many. What you'd find out if you just continue learning without doing that first part is you will go too deep into areas that you don't exactly need. And then you come out and say, oh, what do I do with this? And then you start to think, it's okay, you can't do anything with this, and then you start all over. If you're persistent enough, eventually you'll get there. It could take a few years, but most people are not that patient. Right? And you just end up dropping it and jumping onto the next shiny thing. So the right approach is to start with assessing, okay, what is in cybersecurity? There's a technical side that the technical side is not as big, and take note of this, and people don't know this. The technical side is not as big as the non-technical side of cybersecurity, or the less technical side of cybersecurity. Now, if you understand, okay, that there are two sides to it, what is within the less technical or non-technical side of cybersecurity? What is within the technical side of cybersecurity? Now, look at yourself. What have I done before? What have I done before that fits into this area of cybersecurity? Do I enjoy that part of it? Is that what I want to keep doing when I get into cybersecurity? So a little bit about something that happened to me, because I also transitioned way back, and some people here probably know part of that journey. Now, because I've always been a tech person, I've always been in tech, about 15, 16 years in tech. Now, what I found out after I transitioned, and for a good 2 years, I was still arguing with myself up here that I wasn't doing cybersecurity. Because it didn't feel like it. It felt like things I did way back. You're very welcome, Grace. Yeah, no problem. To be available on YouTube. Just make sure you're following on LinkedIn. We would announce when it's available. So for a good part of, very good, thank you. So for a good part of 2 years, I was still arguing with myself in my head that I wasn't doing cybersecurity. Yes, I had the title and all of that, but in my head, it didn't feel like cybersecurity. What did I do? I enrolled in the bootcamp. Someone talked about bootcamp earlier. I enrolled in the bootcamp. I wanted to learn more. No, this what I'm doing is cannot be cybersecurity. It's not cybersecurity. Cybersecurity should be a lot more than that. I've heard too many things. I enrolled in a boot camp. On the first day, I dropped out of it. It's like, wait, what? This is too entry level. This can't be cybersecurity. Then I did my own learning, my own digging. I said, okay, this is actually what I've been doing is cybersecurity. So what you would find, and why did I say that? What you'd find is that when you look for an area that ties back to something, the things you've been doing before, by the time you start or you get a title, it wouldn't be totally strange to you. It would just be, a variation of something that I did before in a different environment, probably looking for something different, and that would be it. So it wouldn't be as big a jump as a lot of people expect it to be if you leverage what you already have. That's why, for me, I think a critical first step when you're transitioning is to look at what skill sets you need to get into a certain space, assess yourself, what skill sets you already have that you can leverage. Now, that doesn't mean that's it. It doesn't mean, oh, I have a skill set now, let me go and start applying to jobs. No, it doesn't work like that. There will be gaps because you're going into a new, it could be, for some people, it could be that they're taking a small part of the things they've done before, they're currently doing, and they're going deeper into it. And if there's anything we know about going deep, it means it gets bigger. The deeper you go, the bigger it gets. It means there are things you now need to learn within cybersecurity. But having that knowledge of where you're at and where you're headed would help you scope your journey better. You know exactly what to learn and what not to learn. And that can guide your path. That can make your journey 10 steps faster than just learning everything, because they all sound good and you feel like, oh, this is good to learn. So for Grace and Ava, it would be great to know where you are headed or what the plan based on what, and most likely you've had this conversation with her at some point around, okay, what you've done before and where you're going, exactly why you need the knowledge you're getting. So that is always a very good first step. Know what the gap between where you are right now, what you have and you can leverage, and what knowledge you need to acquire. And that would definitely guide your learnings. And learning that theoretically is good. Practice is better. Find a way to get hands-on experience. Maybe you're taking a program that includes projects, or you're using online internships like the Forage. I'll put that in the chat for those that are doing self-learning. The Forage. You're using the Forage, or you're joining some open source projects to boost your knowledge. In fact, I've seen people start their security journey from their home. They built their own security environment, and then they got a friend to audit it to see if they've done the right thing. The friend that is already practicing to audit their environment. And once they confirmed that, oh, this is good, and started selling the same thing to their neighbors, protecting, helping them secure the environment. And that's how they started their journey. So there's no one size fits all approach, but knowing where you're going, what you need to get there is always a good first step. And then that can guide your journey. And make sure that your learnings are practical. Very important. And so once that is there and you have it, don't wait. Another thing is, do not wait until. Thank you, Amara. Nice to have you on the call. Do not wait until you are ready to start applying to jobs. Because by the time you feel like you're ready, it might already be too late. So put yourself out there, showcase what you've been learning, showcase what you know, tell your story. You know, we've talked about the uniqueness of different people's stories so far. Tell your story. It's very important. From telling your story, people can see what is unique about you, what you're bringing to the table. And there are switch ways you can tell your story. And when you're telling your story, you're pretty much marketing yourself. If there's anything we know about marketing, on where can we find the internship opportunities? Oh, okay. Just a moment. So if there's anything about telling your story, it's like you're marketing yourself. And if we know about marketing, you're not telling every story there is to know. No one wants to know where you were born. No one wants to know what you ate as a child, except that's going to add value to your story. Then you can tell it. If it's not, take it out. Only tell the part of the story that is relevant to what you're looking for, or the one that can connect with the people, right? So tell your story however you want to tell it. Showcase what you're learning. Showcase the journey you're going through to your boss, to your colleagues, to the world. Let them see. Okay, so intern. I just put it something. So the Forage, that's an online internship that you can take. It's kind of the latest one available. I put it in the chat. The Forage, I think it's theforage.com or something. Internships are hard. Yeah. So internships are hard to come by if you're not going through like a typical education, like a diploma or a degree. Companies don't just give internships because security is critical, right? And companies wouldn't just hand it over to someone that says, oh, please give me a job. Or I'm just learning, please give me a job. Except you present yourself as, I know what I'm talking about. No one would ask if you are paid for your job experience or not, right? If you present yourself as, I know what I'm talking about, I can help you solve a problem, they will most likely give you an opportunity, right? But if you're presenting yourself as, oh, I need internship, oh, I need an opportunity to showcase my skills, there's a good chance that they won't give you any. Right. Okay. Now, another thing I'd like to say, when people are going through this transition journeys, one thing people do a lot is they hide it, especially from their current employer. My question is always why. I don't know if someone can, in less than a minute, tell me why on this call today. Anybody? Why people hide their journey from their employers? Nobody. But I'm sure a lot of people here do that.
I guess some people don't want their employer to feel like they'll start looking for another job soon and leave them. Some employers can be funny when they feel like you may be leaving them soon. They start, act some can even be petty and they will just ask you to leave because they want to be prepared. Some employers are like that.
Okay, so let me tell you something, and that's an interesting point of view. And employees would think that for sure. As someone that employ others, do I want to keep my best people? Absolutely, 100%. And I'll do anything to keep them. Right? Now, what would make me, if I know you're leaving me, why would I want to kick you out anyways? Why would I find a way? If I know why you're leaving and I can solve that problem, why wouldn't I solve it and just keep you? So let me tell you what I mean. And a few people actually have done that with us. So people hide it for the fear of exactly what you said, for the fear of I might be laid off or they might think, oh, I'm leaving them. No, let them know that as part of your personal development, you are doing this and you would like to showcase what you're learning within the team. Or even without saying that, start pointing out certain things. Oh, I see we've been doing this, but we can do it better this way. Oh, how did you know this? I'm currently going through this because I'm trying to, again, establish myself as this. But I see the opportunity to showcase it here because there are certain things we can do better. I've seen people do that. I've seen one of our people from the UK did it, and she actually helped that company pass their audit for cyber essentials in the UK because she was moved into the cybersecurity department. And someone actually, director that went through our program recently, did it. Had a conversation with her boss. She was the director of data analytics. She is still, and she functions with the cybersecurity team now. Because if there's something the cybersecurity team needs is analytics. We need data, metrics to show that what we're doing is working, right? And she was like, oh yeah, I recently went through this journey and I know that, yeah, I would like to put what I've done into practice here. She had that conversation with the CISO and right there and then they just shipped their policies. Oh yeah, it's almost time for us to review our policies. Can you help us get started on it? She started it and she started loving it. She was like, Doctor, I can't believe I'm doing cybersecurity. I said, yes, you are. So yes, the fear is always there, but it's always wanting to try. A lot of good organizations would support that journey because they need it. You can become the cybersecurity SME, cybersecurity subject matter expert within your department. And you'll be the one engaging with the security team whenever they need something from your team. That way, as you're going through that journey, you put cybersecurity on your job title, on your resume, nobody's ever going to argue with it. There's a background check will check out, any reference check, your boss would reference you for it. So, as a first step, think of starting where you are. I know some people say it's risky, but I encourage you to try it. It works. We've seen it work a few times. Okay, there's even another person who actually, when he left the company, he left as an associate director of cybersecurity programs. He was an IT project manager with that company before he went through our program. And he left when he did as an associate director of cybersecurity. Only because he showed up and he let them know that. Imagine him, I'm sure if he had looked for jobs outside, they would not have given him a director role as a start. But now he had that title, he can always put it on his resume. If he wants to become a CISO today, it can be. So it works if you try it. It works most of the time. Now we've talked about skills. Now, what does the day is Felix back?
Yes.
Oh yeah, there you are. Thank you. I will need you here. Can you just tell us a little bit about what a typical day in your life is as an OT cybersecurity expert?
I'm not an expert yet.
Oh, you're a professional.
Yeah, I won't say I'm an expert yet. But so I think for the past couple of months, it's been working with three other people, three other guys who I work with directly, and a consultant, and working on several projects. So right now we're working on well 5 different projects right now. So we're revamping the networks, the network gears for operational technology. We also have another project on working on Active Directory. Still for the operational technology, we're working on installing and configuring Clarity vulnerability management software and Qualys vulnerability management software.
Good question. Where you going? So you've mentioned you're working on this and that. Who is doing the work? You or some other team? Like who is doing the installation? Who's doing the configuration?
So I lead a team of 3 people, and they do the technical work.
You lead a team. Thank you.
Yeah.
Go ahead, please.
So they do the technical.
Okay.
They do the technical work. They do the installation. I just make sure that they have everything they need to do their job. So
if you're going to classify that, what would you call it?
So I do more of program and project management for the team.
Thank you.
Right now. And the reason why I'm picking up cybersecurity learnings and I'm joining a forum like this is also because I do not have a background in cybersecurity. Yes, I lead a team that is what they do. But a lot of time when they get into the technicalities, into the nitty-gritty, I'm lost. Completely lost.
Exactly. And that's a space for gap assessments, right? And
yes.
going into the exactly. But so, I like what you said, but please go ahead, finish your thought.
Yeah, so for each of the projects we do, like I just do risk analysis for normal risk management for the project, make sure the supply chain management for the project, we have everything that we need. So like I make sure they don't have to interface with all the other arms of the government. I mean, our organization, I do all of that for them. That is not technical. And I just make sure they have everything they need to do. Make sure that they also do not burn out doing what they do because we have just 3 people working on maybe about 7 projects at the same time. So I do more of coordinating leadership stuffs. I'm not really getting my hands dirty. I would love to, but
But do you agree that you're doing cybersecurity?
No, I totally agree because I see the effect of what we do, of the projects on the organization. Every time we get a new CVE list of vulnerabilities, and I do research on how this could affect what we do and how our projects will actually stop this from affecting the city. So I definitely agree. I'm working on cybersecurity, especially the operational technology side, but not technical.
Absolutely. Again, there are different sides. We talked about different sides of cybersecurity. There's the technical side. Would you call those guys you manage security engineers?
Oh, there's one of them I even call cybersecurity architects.
Exactly.
Because he knows how everything links up to each other.
Yes.
He knows when we need a particular software, and he just knows how everything works together. So yes, I have like a cybersecurity architect. Then I have the other guys who are just specialists in their different fields.
Correct. So in their different fields. And then you talked about vulnerability reports. Where did those come from?
Oh, so one of the projects we're working on, or one of the things we're doing is to be able to get the vulnerability management software. So in this case, we're using Qualys vulnerability management software, VMDR, and we're also using Clarity. And why we're using those 2 is because they were made for the OT sector. So those generate reports about our assets, generate reports about the vulnerabilities compared to what's out there and what's been attacked before, and gives us a report. And we use that to do other processes that we do in-house. We also have it linked to an ITSM software. We have it linked to an endpoint detection software. So we just have all this working together to give us reports about vulnerabilities and help us to just do what we need to do to keep our organization safe.
Absolutely. Thank you. The reason I asked that, and I like that you just gave us a real world scenario of how things work. I'll just take it back to a question or something Ava mentioned. Right now, what she's doing is on learning how to write vulnerability reports. Now, Ava, I don't know if you can unmute. I don't know if you get the point from there that a lot of the time, this vulnerability reports actually come from a system, Qualys being one of them, and there are a number of other ones too. And Felix, sorry, and I know I'm picking on you a bit. Those reports, when they come, are they easy to understand? Like, can you interpret them yourself? Are they technical or they are just in plain English?
That's a good question. It depends. So it depends on your level. If, for example, if you're in healthcare, you've not done anything or you've not done any study, you would find it difficult. But what I've found out is the more you get involved or read about the system, it start becoming clear. Yes, It's in plain English, you can understand it, but it may not make so much sense until you actually just dive into the cybersecurity work.
Exactly. So I thank you for that. The reason I said, Ava, the question you asked, the reason I said I will answer it later when we start talking about the day in the life of a cybersecurity professional and that, because these reports ideally are in plain English. Now, what skill set do you need to understand those reports? You need to understand cybersecurity. That's all you need to do. You don't need to understand, you don't need to specifically go and learn coding or specifically go and learn this or that. You need to understand cybersecurity. You need to understand how certain things impact others. Now, you need to understand the business you're working within as well, because that's the only way you can understand impact beyond just the CVSS score, right? That's because it needs CVSS and CVE, they're good, but they don't exactly tie back to the assets in terms of the criticality of the assets you are working on, or the criticality of the assets that the vulnerability was detected on. So understanding of cybersecurity, especially risk management, and an understanding of your organizational context is kind of the biggest thing you need to fully understand vulnerability reports.
That not many people know about their phone. If you keep running out of storage on your phone, don't pay.
Immaculate, you have a question? So that you're muted.
Thank you. Thanks for that explanation.
You're welcome, Ekman. Now, thank you for sharing that, Felix. I don't know if someone else want to share their day in the life, what a typical day looks like in their life as a cybersecurity professional. If not, I'll move on to something I really want to touch on, because I know majority of the people here, they're looking at the possibility of transitioning, either fully or partially, whatever that looks like for you. So, because we've all heard about it, we've heard a lot of things in the market. We've seen advert, right? And we've all seen, I'll make you, I'll give you a 6-figure job in 5 days, in 90 days, in this, in that. Are these things real? Do we believe in them? And it's not bad to believe in miracles. It's not exactly bad to believe that certain things can work. But my own approach to life is, if it's too good to be true, it's most likely too good to be true, right? And when you're looking, would you rather build, and this is a question for everybody, just answer real quick. I know we have 2 minutes to the end, I can wait a bit longer. Just answer real quick. Would you rather have a job or have a career? Is there a difference?
Yeah,
Career.
career.
Okay, thank you. So we all agree that there's a difference, right? You can have a job
Yeah.
and do that job and then you can't do anything else, and then you jump onto the next one. But if you build yourself strong enough to build a career, you can progress through the career. Thank you. Now, when people promise you, I'll get you a job within, I'm not saying that they tell us we all have different business models and how things work. Maybe they can. Let's even say they are not selling lies, right? Let's say they can hand you a job. The question is, can you keep that job? Right? The big question is, can you keep that job when someone hands it over to you? You don't have the requisite knowledge. You have not done anything to build yourself. And Felix mentioned he found himself doing this job. Now he's learning more so he can establish himself. He can build himself a career in cybersecurity. He has the job, but he knows he doesn't have what it takes to build a career yet. Now he's working towards building a career. That's the right thing to do, Felix. Please keep going. So that's the thing. Now, why am I saying that? Mindsets. It's very important to have the right mindset when you're looking to get into cybersecurity. Some people are looking for fast wins. Fast wins, and there's nothing wrong with that if you put in what it takes. There's no such thing as an overnight success. No one gets lucky in my books. No one gets lucky. You have to work towards your own luck. You have to make it. If you can burn the candles, you can wake up in the night, read your learning, network, do all the right things you need to do. Yes, it can happen for you within a few weeks. And I can tell you for sure, for those that have been on our program, they can tell. We've had people land jobs within 5 weeks. And I say 5 weeks. It's not because they started their journey 5 weeks before. And we will never put an ad there and say, we'll get you a job in 45 days. It doesn't mean it cannot happen. This is someone I'm talking about. This is someone that has a QA background. This is someone that has been doing the learning before they even joined us. This is someone that has fully attended all the mentorship sessions and had the right mindset, attempted interviews. This person had several interviews before the program, the full program even started, just mentorship and self-learning. But if we were to write that, you say the person landed the job within the first 5 weeks of working with us. That's not the whole story. I don't know if I'm making sense to somebody. So when you get into any transition, be cybersecurity or anything else, be ready to be in it for the long haul. Have the right mindset. It's not if I apply to 2 jobs and I get rejection and I'm out of it, but you're not ready. You're not ready to do it. Right? What says to happen today? What says it to happen tomorrow? But what I can tell you for sure is if you have the right knowledge, the right skill set, the right attitude, the right mindset, it's a matter of when, not if. But if you stop, you will never know what would happen. So being resilient, being persistent, and just keep going no matter what is the right thing to do. The market is tough, but things are happening. People are getting jobs. People are landing big jobs. Jobs that even in the booming market, people were not getting. People are landing them today. And who says you can't be that person? But don't expect it to happen overnight. And don't expect anybody to hand it over to you. I've seen people come onto our calls and say, will you give me a job? And I always tell them, even if I'm hiring, I will not give you a job. And I'll tell you something. Yes, we hire. We're a consulting firm. We hire people. But I wouldn't say because you went through our program, I'll hand you a job if you don't show me something. If you have an opening, we have a client need. You have to show me something because how many people are going through those programs? Not everybody would do something with it, unfortunately, because our attitudes will be different. Right? But if you show me something, if I'm not referring you to opportunities when they come, or my people are not referring you to opportunities, we're probably giving you an opportunity within. And I'll give you something that happened earlier this year. Someone that just concluded our program or wanted to be an auditor. It's time for our annual audit. Had on it. So tomorrow, this person did not complete the audit. So I should even say did not even start. What's the big if someone has gone through our program, we know this person knows what they're doing. It only makes sense to give them the opportunity, right? Paid opportunity for that matter. That audit never got completed. Do you think, yes, that person went through our program. Do you think I would ever refer that person to a job? Nobody's talking. You're thinking, oh, this man is to me. Why is he saying this now?
No.
But then there are people here that can tell that. And yeah, I trust everybody on our program because I believe in what we do. But do you believe in yourself? Do you? That's a question for everybody. Do you believe in yourself?
Yes.
That just sounds very light. Do you really believe in yourself? So again, you have to, like, you have to believe in yourself. The first step, the first job you get, there's no doubt you will be scared before you start. What you would find out, and that some of you have learned before, is that it's not hard. Cybersecurity is not difficult. I'll tell you that for sure. It is one of in fact, the things I've done in cybersecurity are some of the easiest things I've done in my career. When I'm not talking about a job, I don't have a 2-year career in cybersecurity, not a 4-year career in cybersecurity, much longer than that. And I've been in tech a good part of the last 16 years. I can tell you what I've done in cybersecurity, in consulting, in employment, and all of that. I've been a consultant maybe 7 years now. I can tell you that the things I've done in cybersecurity are some of the easiest things I've done in my career. It's not hard. Anybody can do it if you put your mind to it. Again, that's the key. You have to put your mind to it, and you have to believe in yourself. Have the right mindset, and everything will be set. I will pause there. We're over time. I will take questions the next 5-10 minutes, and I'll just put contact information on the screen. If anyone wants to reach out. Now, and one thing that, okay, let me just share that. But yes, please, if you have a question, please go ahead and ask. You can unmute and just ask.
There's something I usually think about, I think, is the end game. So at the end of the day, we all want to be cyber security specialists, maybe managers and different pathways. But do all of us eventually end up being a consultant? Like, it seems there's a peak once you get to cybersecurity manager for an organization. Maybe if you're lucky, you can get to maybe CISO or CSO, but sometimes it just feels like, yes, you're not there yet, but what's the end game?
Good question. For security career, and that's the beauty of this space, you can do anything you want to do. Yeah, you talked about being a consultant. Again, sometimes I ask people some certain questions. It depends on what you're looking for, right? I ask, do you want the title or you want the money? And I'm asking people here now, do you want the title or you want the money?
Some of us just want the money. And the career too, and the career.
I want both.
Trust me, there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong. As you see me, yes, I will deliver everything I promise. But yes, I will not do it for free. I will do it for the money, and it needs to be worth it. That's why I will not take an engagement that is just $1,000. It wouldn't work for me. $2,000. No, you have to pay me good for me to deliver something to you. So yeah, it can be for the money, but you have to put some things behind yourself to ask for that money.
People they pass setting and all. Like the other day, we were not home. Some people came with the telephone.
Oh, okay. It was like, give me the money. So, oh yes. So definitely it's okay to have to go for the money, but add value to yourself before you can ask for that money. Now, if you're after the money, there's so much you can do in cybersecurity that will make you a whole lot of money. A whole lot of money. If you're after the title, you're very correct, Felix. There's kind of a ceiling. Usually, if you just want to grow through the ranks. The funny thing though, with cybersecurity, there's no one measuring how fast you go. One of the first offers I got in cybersecurity was for CISO. And in my head, I was like, wait, I've never done this job. Why are you giving me CISO? Like, what's going on here? And should I not kind of rise through the ranks, like grow through the ranks, right? But it doesn't work like that in tech. You can go as fast as possible, depending on how much value you added to yourself. So if again, you have to determine what you're looking for. You can be an analyst, you can be a specialist or whatever. And then another thing I would say is title doesn't matter in cybersecurity. I've seen a senior manager, and I'm not making this up, even if it sounds made up. I've seen a senior manager in cybersecurity in Canada for one of the biggest financial sector firms in Canada, not making $90,000 a year. I'm not making it up at all. It is true. Now, the question is cybersecurity a six-figure career path? I'm asking everybody here. Is it?
I would say absolutely, if you know what you're doing.
100%. Yes. And it's always, and I've worked with directors. I remember one of our gigs last year, of course, I like to build good relationships with my clients. And a director on that, actually not really. It is. I didn't say job, I said career path. It is a six-figure career path. It's a very lucrative field. You just have to put the right value. You have to add enough value to yourself to command this kind of compensation. Now, this director, no, she was a senior manager at the time, not a director actually. We were having some chats, we were having a chat, and she was like, "You don't know how lucky you are." I said, "What do you mean?" "Do you know you can pay my salary 3 times and you still have some change to take off?" I just laughed. I said, "But no, what do you mean?" And then she told me how much she made. I was like, "Why are you here? Why? Is it about the title? What are you doing here?" And she was like, "Can you hire me?" I said, "I can't hire you. I can't hire you. You need to go out there and do something for yourself. You have too much to offer." And interestingly enough, she left as soon as our engagement with that client ended. So it was almost like we left the company at the same time. But she went for something bigger. So yes, it's a very lucrative field, but you have to look in the right direction, not add the right value to yourself to command the right. If you want to stay with the company, that's fine. There's a good chance that you'll not make good money, even if you're going through the ranks. If you move around, there's a good chance that you make more money over time, even if you remain in permanent employment and not become a consultant. So let me allow people to ask questions. Any question? Okay, I think there's a question in the chat. Bumi, how much is your training? Okay, so it varies, right? It varies depending on your background. What I would recommend, okay, one thing I would say is a training. Please go ahead. So one thing I would say is book a session with us. Let's learn more about your background. Know exactly how you would fit in, where your experience lies, and that would determine what the cost is. But in any case, it's not less than 2,000 USD. It's just maybe that will give you an idea.
Hi, can you hear me?
Oh, yes.
All right, mine's not a question, it's just a statement of fact that I want to make.
Okay.
A trial will convince you guys. That's what I would say. I've been in this program. I'm still part of the program. I'm enjoying the program. And I will tell everyone that's interested, please go ahead, book a consultation with the team and start. The earlier you start, the better for you. Don't dilly-dally about that. Don't think about it. Start this step and you'll see that you will enjoy everything all the way. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Okay, that wasn't painful. Thank you. Okay, and one thing we get people ask about a lot is how can they okay, you know what? Let me put this link in the chat. How can they what's the right word I'm looking for? How can they be a part of this program, like this sessions going forward? Now, because people are continuously asking about this, and even internally, they're saying we should. make this available to the public. So I'll put a link to our Instagram group, to our Telegram in the chat. You can join the Telegram group. That way, we put some things there, and then you will always know when this session is coming up, so that you won't miss it next time. So it's in the chat. Just use that link to join. Yeah, so it's in the chat. Just join us with that link. It is free to join. It's just a Telegram group to keep everybody updated and all that. So what is the specialty? That's a question from Immaculate. What is the specialty main focus? You mean for our training? Right. So there are two areas we focus on right now. If it's core cybersecurity, if it's nothing else you want to look at, it's GRC, risk and compliance bit, and security operations. Security operation includes incident response, digital forensics, threat intelligence, as I mentioned earlier. And what else? Someone on the call, can you help me? Vulnerability management, right? So the way our program works is that at least that part of it. Do we combine AI with it? So you will be exposed to AI security and governance. Is there someone on the call that has an AI security and governance certification already on our program? Is there anyone here that is currently on the program that has done the certification? Or at least you've seen it, even if you haven't done it yet. You've seen where it is. Anyone? Okay, now you want to make me lie.
Oh, yes, it is. It's available. Please, as I said earlier, a trial will convince you. Don't delay about it. The certifications are there. The steps are there on how to achieve it, what you need to do, how you need to go about it. You will be guided. Then you will take the necessary certifications that will boost your career. So one thing is sure, you will get coaches that will give you the guide, and they're always available to guide you, to assist you, to answer all your questions. Be whatever you're coming, what angle you're coming from, you'll get answers to all the questions you have. And one good thing is it's not just weekend. During the week, if you reach out to your coaches, you will get answers. And we also have weekly meetings that we get guides on how to get some resume done in the proper way, guides for interview sessions. It's a loaded package, as I said, and a trial will convince you. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Faye. Thank you. And for those and I see a number of people on the program that haven't looked at AI security and governance yet, I would like to know what's going on. Why you haven't looked at it? Because again, AI is there. Everyone needs to be familiar with what AI looks like, how to govern it, how to secure it. And it's right there for you on the system. I wonder why you're not looking at it yet. Please start looking at it. It's not going to cost you anything but your time. It's going to cost you your time anyways. But not financially. I wonder why you're not looking at it. Okay. So does that answer your question, Bumi, or do you have a follow-up?
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Okay, great. Any other question?
Prof, this is just a quick statement here. Thomas, yes.
I
Sorry, I was a little bit tied up here with a few chores, but no, I just want to mention. So my understanding is that most people on the call are still deciding if they want to enroll into this program, the CSMP program. I think Prof mentioned something really fundamental earlier, which was there's a lot of boot camps, right? A lot of people are gonna promise jobs and whatnot, and I've been part of that process before as well. But what I can say is as Prof said, do you want a career or do you want a job? Because you could easily get a job. Just you could be coached into, getting a job. But what you want is a career, right? A long-term career, not just a job. How long do you stay in that role, right? And what this program really offers is, you don't just get the job, but then you're not just left to, I'd say you're not just left to ponder and figure out things by yourself once you actually get in the job, and I'm definitely a testimony to that. Like somebody mentioned the coaches are always available. Prof himself is always available. That's one thing you will never find in, other programs. Like for example, somebody was saying they've done, the business analyst thing. I did that. I did the cloud. I did cloud. I did a cloud boot camp as well. The moment you're done with those boot camps, the facilitators or even the main director of the program, those people are not even reachable. You try to call people, no one's responding. You have difficulties, and this is not even before you've had a job. So imagine how hard it is. Like when you've had a job, like just access to those people is virtually impossible. But for this program, this is completely different. Like, like I said, Prof is always available, the coaches, everyone, is always willing to help. And so that's what, provides that additional, foundation. And you also have to put in your own part. Like you obviously have to put your own effort into the process, right? It's not just relying on people. Like you have to continuously learn and strive to grow into the role, for longevity, right? So what I would say is if anyone is like hesitant with this program, you're you're in the right place, I'll tell you that. And don't hesitate. Don't, the more time I'd say the more time you waste, the more, the longer it is you're not reaching out, you're not attaining your target. Like don't waste time. Like I was somebody who came from a different background as well. So my background was I have experience in finance, project management. I've done policy analysis in government for years. And so, as Coach mentioned, we all have relatable experiences that we've had in other roles, which we can easily transition into cybersecurity, right? I'd say at least 70-80% of people did not start off like from scratch in cybersecurity. They transition from other areas into cybersecurity. So don't be nervous, I'm kind of I'd say I'm in sort of a leadership role imagine this is my first cybersecurity job and I was offered a leadership role, right? And I told Prof, and I was kind of nervous, and Prof told me, hey, don't worry, we're all in this together. Just trust your instincts, believe in yourself. And I would say I'm more a blue team. It's with a leadership role, you're interfacing with both the red, I'd say the red teaming side as well as the blue teaming side. So it's everything from, my day could look like my day there's no particular typical day for me. It's just I'm all over the place. It's a new program. I've been brought on to sort of lead that program, right? So it's like both information technology and operational technology, as somebody mentioned earlier. Yeah. So again, when we're getting into like the nitty-gritty and the details, I kind of get nervous because I'm not a specialist in those things. But again, you just have to demonstrate your leadership skills and your ability to want to learn. Because I've been in meetings and they've asked if that's something which I knew about, and don't be shy to say no. Like as a as a professional, you're not expected to be an expert or an SME in every domain, right? You don't have to know everything, right? So don't be shy or don't be nervous to say if you're asked a question. Like with me, like there's been meetings I've been in, and I've only been I've transitioned. I've only been in this role for about 4 or 5 months, right? So I would say it's all a learning process, and just take it one day at a time. And I would lean on the advice Prof had given me earlier, which is when you're in the role, don't just get comfortable. Always continue to learn something every day or every week or something. Try to, like the AI thing. I didn't even know about it. Like with this webinar, it's obviously created a awareness piece in my mind that, okay, this is something which I should definitely focus on, going forward as well. So folks, you guys are in the right place, man. Just trust your instinct. Don't have any doubts. And this is a very successful program. I'll tell you that.
Thanks so
Thanks,
much,
Prof.
Thomas. Yeah, and the AI security bit wasn't available when you went through the program, but yeah,
Right.
you know where to go, you know where to find it. So yeah, it's there. It's
Right.
there. Absolutely. Thank you so much. Appreciate
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Welcome, Prof.
Okay. We're almost at time because our class starts in 5 minutes, and I'm sure some people here need to join that class. So if you have any other question, you can connect with me on LinkedIn. Ask me, I will respond. I'll try to respond as soon as possible. You can book a one-on-one consultation call with us. We'll be happy to listen to you and see how we can help, if we can help. And yes, you can join the Telegram group as well to stay up to date with us. Thank you so much for another wonderful session today. I've enjoyed myself. I hope you have too. And I guess until next time, bye for now. Bye, everyone.
Thank you so much for the class. Yes. And to anybody who is still in doubt, you don't have anything to fear. You're in the right hands. I know because I've been in the wrong hands before, so I know what's. So I know the difference.
Hi, Dr. Mukhtar.
Hey.
Yeah, hi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. You know what? Let me stop recording.